So the iPhone XR has won sales by a large margin, and here is the secret to why the iPhone XR has won. That video is coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. The secret to why iPhone XR has won. Let me put the hater in his place first before he goes down there and says, well, duh, it's cheap. I just saved you guys a whole video. The first reason is color psychology. Some clever marketing and psychology that you probably did not know into why, the XR is a super hit here. It's not only because it's cheap. I'm gonna leave a link to the article down below that talks about color perception and persuasion and everything in life, not just products, but color psychology plays a big role and impacts willingness to buy something. A study called Impact of Color in Marketing, researchers found that up to 90% of Snap judges are made on color alone. So what does this tell us about the iPhone XR? That tells us that many customers will walk into the Apple Store and have done so already, will look at that color, say, that's me, I'm buying it, sold. They don't even have to look at the phone. They don't need to know the specs. All they need to do is see that color and it's sold. And that is how color psychology plays a huge role in perception and people making snap judgments. I mean, how many times have you went in a clothing store and bought, a t-shirt or a pair of, pants or whatever? Or if you're a lady, how many times have you seen something you're just like, hey, that's mine, just because you like the color of that t-shirt? It actually influences your brain and really makes you pull to it without even thinking about what this phone offers. Okay, so the next one has to do with the price, but not the same way I was talking with the hater earlier about it just being, oh, the price. No, it's the way Apple set this price up and the way they set up their other iPhones around it to make this one a super attractive offering. Let's go back to 2017 with the Apple iPhone X. Now, when this iPhone X came out, it was $1,000. And if you remember correctly, everybody was just, all on top of this about it being $1,000. I don't know if people are gonna buy this phone, and just negatively publicized everywhere just for the price. Now, the phone itself received pretty good reviews and many people did buy the iPhone X. However, there's also millions that were like, no way I am ever paying $1,000 for a phone, especially after being influenced by the many media sources out there. So what this led to is the perception that the iPhone XR is really a much cheaper phone than it really was, because at $749, it was still more than the older days when the iPhones were like $649. So you're still paying more, but it makes you perceive that it's so much cheaper because the other phones around it are just so much higher. Next up is that trade-in value on the iPhone XR. So you can trade in your 7 Plus, right? You could trade in your 7, you'll get it down to $479, right? Don't you realize that you can actually sell your 7 or 7 Plus third party for more? With its trade-in value was one of the major reasons why a lot of people bought this phone, getting less than what their iPhone was worth, not realizing it, but still getting a cheaper iPhone XR at the end of the day. And the convenience factor of just giving Apple your phone, not having to deal with it, that does play into it a little bit. A lot of people probably don't want to set up a sale online and go through all that hassle. So that did actually lead to, I think, more sales on the XR. The next one has to do with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. So Apple knew that a lot of iPhone 7 and 7 Plus users were not going to buy the 8 and 8 Plus. The 6S users definitely probably jumped, a lot of them, but the 7 and 7 Plus users, not everybody jumped to this phone as it was almost identical. And many 6S Plus users probably didn't even jump to this phone. But when the XR came out and was more in line with the price point of the older style iPhones, then that was an easy persuasion for people to buy the iPhone XR. So people didn't want this classic design no more. They wanted something different. Apple pops up with something similar to their old school iPhone prices and gives them multiple colors. It's an easy sell. So many consumers besides us tech fans don't care about specs as much as we thought. You thought that people wanted that OLED super bad, but I'm here to tell you the sales prove otherwise, that most consumers, well, at least Apple knew that their main consumer base, the ones that aren't getting a phone every single year, that just love the products that they sell, we're gonna jump all over this thing right here. And it was an easy win for Apple as well because they cheaped out on the display, giving you a worse display than the XS. Now, I know it kind of contradicts what I'm saying, that most people don't care about specs, but technically speaking, the XR's display is cheaped out versus the XS, the 10, the XS Max. Those are just more superior displays, although customers don't really care. So nice modern design, the basics are met. We have camera, battery, decent design, color choice, pretty much iPhone Face ID looking like the new stuff. And you got a winner again with the iPhone XR. So the specs being slightly degraded didn't really matter, and Apple knew this. So the iPhone XR with the combo of the large 6.1-inch LCD screen, Face ID giving it that more modern feel, was the final blow to the potential iPhone XS buyers that were going to get maybe the XS. That was it for that phone because the XR just stole the limelight, stole the show. And I think a lot of people with the 8 series were even persuaded to get this phone because it gave them that modern feel and they didn't have to pay $1,000. So Apple nailed it with the XR, with not only pleasing people who love tech, but also people who are just the mainstream consumer who doesn't need all the latest and greatest. And here's why. The XR still has a large screen, which a lot of tech enthusiasts love, but also mainstream consumers also do like as well. Face ID is a high-tech feature which tech enthusiasts can enjoy. Having only one less camera, but still doing 4K 60 and still giving you smart HDR. I mean, the Apple ecosystem offering up to 256 gigabytes. This phone strikes a nice balance between pleasing both tech enthusiasts and mainstream consumers. Only the most nitpicking tech enthusiasts would definitely steer clear of this because of resolution. And maybe slightly because they want 17 cameras on their phone. That would be me. Okay, so in conclusion, what we can learn is that people don't want necessarily the cheapest phones, but what they want is a good value phone, a phone that's not too up there in the price, but not, you know, cheaping out so much that you get a bad user experience or you get so much degraded specs. Yeah, iPhone XR only takes it down a notch from the iPhone XS. Yeah, you get the pun, a notch down. Just takes it down a little bit in the specifications, not too much. 3D Touch, we can also learn that 3D Touch wasn't the biggest deal. So Apple's just gonna go ahead and put it in iOS 13 in the form of like a force haptic press. So it's still coming back sort of, but it wasn't a big deal in people not buying the XR. And we can learn that if Apple uses the same strategy again with the iPhone 11R, expect that to be the #1 seller again. So, question for you. Are you buying the iPhone 11R? Are you still considering purchasing the iPhone XR? And if you have a XR, what has your experience been like? Have you been totally pleased with this phone, or would you like to see improvements to the device? Let's get your take on the XR and what you think about this leading sales in iPhone. Do you think it deserves to be the king of sales right now in the iPhone space? Let us know. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all in the very next episode. I'm out of here. Be sure to be well and peace.